All right, war number 4. We're up against NXS, and everybody else's war video has been coming out on this war, so I'm a little bit late, and you probably already know the result, but we'll get into it regardless. Okay, so just dilly-dallying here, scoping out the map. I am on path 6 in section 1. I'm gonna just quake this America Chavez. We'll talk about that interaction when we get there, and then of course I'll be using Apocalypse for this fight. And then I've got this Nick Fury on node 26. I'll go ahead and gain that Disorient immunity. It's got Blood in the Water, so it's pretty clever placement, pretty decent placement here. But Apocalypse really is just a hard answer for that fight. And then I'll use Apocalypse for Domino. I think he's a really safe option if you've gained bleed immunity. I've got Thing as well for Quake. And then this Peni Parker. So in the off season, I took my Venom pool to rank 3 for literally that placement. There are some other places that she's typically placed on the map. And that one in particular, Venom pool, if assuming that Ghost is banned. Pete would probably take that with Ghost if she wasn't banned. But Venom Pool is way. He's probably the best option there outside of Ghost, or like a Corvus with with a bunch of charges or something like that. Even then, Venom Pool might be a little bit safer. I don't know. I could be just completely wrong there. But all right, so you guys know America Chavez is very spazzy. She likes to throw her heavy attacks. So I am going max boost here, and this is, I guess I'm not going full health boost or attack boost, so I'm just a liar. But we are using one of those 30%ers, and I am going maximum boost for the mutants. Here you guys can see I am now, at this point in the season, out of special damage boost for mutants. I've been using Apocalypse so much, but that's because I'll be taking. I can reach that Nick Fury on node 26 in this same little go here. So I'm using Invulnerability because she's so spazzy. I've dueled her several times. I took her on node 49 a couple seasons ago with Quake, where she's stun immune. That was an incredibly stressful fight, but ultimately, if you are practiced with Quake against America Chavez, Quake, just completely ignores everything that America Chavez does, which is why Quake is so good. So, but I only have a couple of Quake fights in this war. They are both sped up, just so you guys can kind of see. But everybody knows how to Quake, or everybody knows what Quake looks like anyway. And yeah, I don't want to waste time, frankly, sitting through 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes or whatever of Quake fights myself. So, all right, this fight is going to be a complete joke. My strategy here is, basically just get to my SP2, I'll throw it, and he's going to be essentially dead at that point. So I do have the Power Start 1 boost on now because, again, I'm taking Nick Fury right after this, and I opted for the Power Start 1 over the Invulnerability boost, and we can actually talk about that a little bit more when we get there. When you guys see that fight, I think on that note, it depends for me who the defender is. So, and it's really just a confidence thing. If I'm really confident, then I'll just use a Power Start 1 boost because that's going to be the fastest way to get through really any fight with Apocalypse. And he's pretty tanky, as you guys know. He can definitely eat some hits if you mess up. But he's also very expensive to heal, so the invulnerability boost, I don't know. It just depends on the matchup. But all right, so Nick Fury here. I've taken Dr. Doom on this node, whom I think is much scarier to take with Apocalypse just because of the block penetration and, the passive stun and stuff. I just feel like you can really get yourself into big trouble against him. Nick Fury is, really the biggest thing with Nick Fury is just obviously that second life when he becomes stun immune. you're essentially just going to eat some blocked hits. But you guys are going to see that this fight is going to go. It's pretty safe if you don't make mistakes. So that happens quite often where I'm waiting out the stun reflect timer and I get cornered. I should get in the habit of hitting into block more on this node so that I don't get cornered. And then I use the PS1 boost. Really, the reason that you would use a Power Start 1 boost is to get that SP2 off first. And I kind of wasted it because I threw my SP1. I didn't want to catch a heavy. There you guys see that I did catch a heavy. I do fortunately have the bleed immunity already built up from the Hitmonkey fight. And this guy just will not throw a special. Here he throws an SP2 and I'm like, wow, I'm toast. I got very lucky. I definitely would have died if I didn't have the bleed immunity. And I got lucky that I didn't get stunned there. So he is in the second life now, and I'm going to escape in this, escape out of this fight here with just a couple special attacks. But yeah, so it's really just two little mistakes. One was a tactical mistake, not hitting in the block early. I ended up kind of getting myself into the corner, and I did end up, taking a heavy, which took off about, I think, 30 to 40% of my health. And then obviously the SP2, again, cornered. He wasn't throwing it. I got caught dashing back with very little space. And so, I don't know, ugly fight. I still am, I think that Apocalypse is the single best matchup for that particular placement, and I am absolutely certain that it would be a lot cleaner next time I took that fight. I think that I could do that fight and come out of it about 90% health, but I don't know. All right, so bleed immunity is essential for this fight, and so is invulnerability. So, Domino is nobody's favorite defender to fight, I don't think. Apocalypse is really good because he is so tanky. And again, if you have the bleed immunity, you can just kind of almost play this fight a little bit carelessly and just push her to her SP3. I am going to throw my SP2. I just want to make sure that she's not lucky when I throw my SP2. I want to make sure that my debuffs are landing. And I don't want her to evade like a portion of my special attack, which has happened. In fact, I think that'll happen here, not this war, but here in one of the next couple wars. I can't remember exactly when. So, all right, you guys can see she's basically dead, and I can just recycle the SP2 again. If I take that SP3, I've got the invulnerability, and I'm bleed immune, so completely protected there. I really like that matchup. I don't know. That's all I'll say about it. I really like that matchup. I think it's a really safe one. Okay. Another Quake fight. This is later in the war, of course. I've just got 2 fights left. So I've got this fight, which is, very easy Quake fight. And then I've got the Peni Parker on node 55, which I think it's a really strong matchup. I'm certain that Corvus and Ghost were banned this war, so that would make Venompool the default best matchup. And I've taken it 2 times this season. This is actually the first of those 2. And I'm still trying to figure out what the optimal in-fight strategy and boost strategy is for that fight, because as you guys will see, even if I feel like I'm playing it very, very well, I'm coming out of that fight with between 50 and 60% health, and that just feels a little bit dangerous to me because if I were to make a mistake, I would come out of the fight with a lot less health, and then you start flirting with Assassin and all that stuff. So, all right, here we go. We're going to speed this fight up. You guys, I mean, thing's been in the game for a very long time. Just a very basic thing. Quake fight. Hopefully I can get through this as quickly as possible. Probably should have sped it up even more. It's 3 times the speed. I guess it's going down enough. But, alright, so one other thing about the Penny fight. I ranked up Venompool in the off-season for that fight. I had the refactor on, or the input beta on, I turned it on immediately once the initial version was released during the off season. I played with it on for about 3 weeks. I loved it. I thought that it was great. And then I ranked up Venompool for this fight. I took this fight in the off season with Venompool, and I kept getting parried when I was being auto blocked. And for those of you familiar with Peni Parker or have taken this fight or her anywhere on the war map, her abilities specifically say that her auto block cannot trigger parry under any circumstances. So it was a confirmed debug, and it was a confirmed debug specific to the input beta. I have no idea how that happens. But it was, so I took the refactor input system, I turned it off, and then I started having input issues again, and I got my ass beat in the first few wars, all that stuff. Here's the mastery build. I just took off suicides and put 5 out of 5 deep wounds in there. I've also got the maximum fury tree, 8 out of 8, which will end up helping a little bit because Venompool, after he gets all of his genetic buffs, any additional buffs are fury buffs, and he can stack those up to 4 times. Typically, that is just going to affect longer fights, and this fight is like kind of in the middle range. I can't remember exactly how long it took, but it's like 2 minutes-ish, I think. So not as quick as I would like. I opted for the invulnerability boost, and this is actually a really interesting talking point with this matchup in particular. So the idea in this matchup is you need to get to your SP3. I thought about using the Power Start 1 boost to get there quicker, but I chose to go with the invulnerability because this is my first time taking it in season, and I just wanted to give myself that extra insurance net. Alright, so she can auto-block Venompool and Venom, but she can't power drain them, which means that she can't deal burst damage, as well as obviously she can't take away their power. So she can still auto block though. So brute force is going to be a problem on this node, no matter who you're taking her with, unless it's Ghost. And yeah, so each one of those spider nonsense charges, as long as her shield is active, is going to give her a 4% chance to auto, or an 8% chance to auto block. I can't remember. But there she goes. She's going to auto block. When she auto blocks, it does count as a blocked hit, so you're able to knock her shield down. But you guys can see, I am taking brute force damage. She has so many of those charges that she's going to auto block everything until I get that shield down. So there I get the shield down. I'm under 50% health, which is not where I want to be. And I just want to throw my heavy attack here, knock her down. That gives me the, I think it's called the Vicious buff. You guys can see, I don't know if you saw, but I had 2 Fury buffs active as well. So this SP3 is just going to do hilarious damage over time. It's just going to bleed the shit out of her. I have a ton of buffs. I've got 4 Fury buffs at this point, and we are taking her for 4,900 damage. So ultimately went well. In a later war, I take that fight, and I choose to go with the Power Start 1 boost, and there is a slightly different, it goes a little bit differently. So we ended up losing this war, unfortunately. I can't remember exactly how we started. I think we started 1-4, and this is War 4, right? We're 1-3 at this point. So the next war, that's a loss. I'm sorry, that's a loss. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. What a great Alliance war. I'm a professional YouTuber. Subscribe, leave a like and a comment, and I will see you in the next one.